here I was thinking that Nick Ricada would be the biggest content creator fall off in 2024. Holy man. I mean, for as bad as that was, okay, I would have to say, yeah, Boogie's gonna be a hard high water mark to beat for the rest of the year, because I seen this, it was what, like a couple of weeks ago, when all the drama around him hopping on a crypto pump and dump scheme. It's like, if I was to make a video on every influencer going ahead and hopping on that bandwagon, I mean, I'd have to make a secondary channel because there's so many scams that are out there. And also, if you're taking financial advice from somebody who very publicly ended up going broke and begging his audience on a constant basis, I mean, you kind of deserve to get scammed at that point. But yeah, I was just going to kind of let bygones be bygones. Let sleeping dogs lie on that one. But then things in very short order went from bad to incredibly worse, because as much as all of those influencers really did kind of come across and rather come out the other side of a lot of those, remember the NFT stuff in 2021, 2022? Yeah, pretty much everybody was out there shilling their bored ape or creepy animal picture. All of them ended up coming out the other side. So I just thought, this is just going to be another, bump on the road to Boogie. He's just going to go ahead and make it all about himself after the scam gets exposed, and then he'll throw himself a little pity parade and just do something else stupid, because he's already fallen off as far as he could, okay? At one point in time, one of the most respected and beloved internet figures, full stop. He had a generally pleasant demeanor online in his presentation. Everybody who ever met him would just constantly say how great and how wonderful, how kind of a person he was. Oh, you will never meet a nicer guy than Boogie. And then the facade started to fade away. Then he started to stream on Twitch and YouTube, and then we really got to see who the real Boogie was, and all of his more legendary clips, like how he has no time for trolls, but at least certain segments of the population, well, they really believe in what they're doing. If you know, you know, and if you don't worry about it, because it gets so much worse from there. Because for as much as you can come back from some stupid remarks on stream or a meme coin pump and dump, there's no real coming back from faking cancer for sympathy. Yo, man, that really is something, huh? Okay, I've learned. Okay, this is coming from Boogie at the time. Okay, I've learned already to do that. Cancer is expensive. I'm at the beginning stages and I can't afford it. Okay, when this crap inevitably turns into leukemia, I'll be effed. Well, okay, so that's interesting, right? That's really bad. Okay, that's really bad, but okay, so there he is saying that when it eventually becomes cancer, or what's happening right now? Where is he at? What are we talking about? Well, he's talking about a condition that he apparently has, as corroborated by his biological brother. Okay, those who are trolling my brother, Boogie2988, I can confirm that his diagnosis with Polycythemia Vera is absolutely true. He has suffered with this debilitating condition for at least 2 years. Okay, I stake my reputation as a healthcare professional on this fact. So what is Polycythemia Vera? Okay, so I've got a couple of articles pulled up, and we have Polycythemia Vera, and there is 2 different variations on this disease. Okay, the first one that Boogie's trying to peddle that he has is a type of blood cancer. Okay, it causes your bone marrow to make too many red blood cells. These excess cells thicken your blood, slowing its flow, which may cause serious problems such as blood clots. Okay, Polycythemia Vera is rare. It usually develops slowly, and you might have it for years without knowing. Often the condition is found during a blood test done for another reason. And as somebody who is verifiably as unhealthy as Boogie is, I mean, he's probably getting his blood done on a regular basis, so he would definitely know that. But then also, and while I filled in a bunch of my Boogie lore recently with his Mike Clum documentary that dropped at the end of last year, you would think, because that was filmed throughout 2023, I do believe, he would have made mention of that, because, yeah, he was also consistently throwing little self-deprecating parties for himself on a regular basis, so you wouldn't think that everything would have been tagged with, well, things were going great until I, got my cancer diagnosis. Okay, the only thing that brings me joy in life is not having to manage my cancer. You would have thought something like that would have came up, okay? But maybe it's not quite the cancer type. Maybe it's the thing that can turn into blood cancer. Okay, maybe we're dealing with the less severe version. Still sounds like a pain, but it's also not what he's claiming. Okay, polycythemia vera is a rare blood disorder in which there is an increase in your blood cells, particularly red blood cells. The increase in blood cells makes your blood thicker. That can lead to strokes or tissue damage and organ damage. Polycythemia vera is caused by a genetic change that develops during your lifetime. It's not an inherited genetic disorder. In most cases, it is not known why this happens. So yes, this is just simply according to Johns Hopkins. The other one, of course, the definition that we got from there is from the Mayo Clinic. These are no quack websites or anything like that. Wanted to go ahead and simply get the facts from reputable sources, because from here on out, it's not too much we can go ahead and take here at face value, because it really is downhill from here. So I do believe that this all happened on the 10th. At least that's when I started to see all of this stuff popped off. So a couple days removed. Couple days back, Boogie found himself on a live stream with Destiny of all people, and he just came out bluntly and said, "Boogie, I don't believe that you have cancer. Provide pics, and then I shall reimburse you." Things started to snowball from there, but instead of me just roughly recapping this, let's go through this article. Boogie2988 has found himself embroiled in controversy yet again after Destiny accused him of faking a cancer diagnosis. Boogie's fans first learned about the diagnosis in November of 2022 when he posted a video on YouTube explaining, "I got a rare blood cancer called polycythemia vera, which basically makes your blood produce too many red blood cells." At the time, Boogie said his prognosis was good, but he's been engaged in cancer treatments ever since. Interesting. And yeah, it's also something else that you could see from both of those articles right there. Simply going back to the Mayo Clinic one, without treatment, polycythemia vera is life complicating, but proper medical care can help ease signs, symptoms, and complications of this disease. Yeah, if it's properly treated, it is very easily managed, okay? That's Boogie's side of the story, but Destiny doesn't believe the streamer's word about his medical condition. Yeah, because again, somebody else who is just that negative, that much of a joy vampire, he would be bringing that up constantly for sympathy. So I just kind of think, and so many other people right now are also on the bandwagon where it looks like, yeah, he tried to get that little pump back in November of 2022, but then now because things are hard, and now because the crypto pump and dump ended up going sideways, ooh, yeah, now's the time. Now's the time, especially when things are hot, where he can roll this old news out. But, I mean, he doesn't have the receipts, and now things are looking bad for him. Destiny started looking into Boogie's cancer diagnosis after Boogie got wrapped up in a cryptocurrency controversy with a coin called a fatty token. Sure. Boogie claimed his involvement with the coin was geared at paying for his cancer treatment. Oh, okay, so you were scamming your fans, but it was apparently going to be going to a good cause. Yeah, you can see why people are a little bit incensed by this, because right now YouTube is being taken over by two topics, Boogie and the Acolyte. It is everywhere that you look. Both are for justifiable reasons. Both also includes a heavy dose of cancer. In the lengthy live recording, Destiny broke down his theories about what's going on with Boogie. The streamer spent some time looking into secondary polycythemia and polycythemia vera. Both cause a dangerous increase in red blood cells, but the former is caused by outside forces, while the latter is apparently caused by cancer. Destiny noted that some of the causes and treatments of the non-cancerous polycythemia seemed to line up with things Boogie has said about his illness in the past, which ultimately led to Destiny calling into Keemstar's Lolcow live podcast to confront Boogie directly. The exchange got pretty heated, but it also left the internet with more questions than answers. Yeah, exactly, because one of them, the polycythemia, secondary type, a lot of it is caused by excessive obesity, the thickening of your blood. When you get so fat, what's the old joke? You're so fat, your blood type's ragu. It's kind of similar to what that disease entails. But yeah, if properly managed, it doesn't turn into cancer, and you can generally live a normal life. So this isn't the first time the Boogie2988 has been involved in a dark story, and that doesn't make Destiny's accusations any less extreme. Destiny opened the call by getting right to the issue at hand, saying, "I'm 99% sure that you're faking your cancer diagnosis, Boogie." Boogie immediately responded by saying this doctor told him he had cancer polycythemia vera, not secondary polycythemia. Boogie also said that a doctor told him his blood had hormone markers that were in line with a cancer diagnosis, and that he would soon be getting a bone marrow biopsy to confirm the diagnosis. 2 years after the diagnosis, then he would start to get treatments. I don't know, man. Destiny jumped on the biopsy as proof of his own claims. He said that if Boogie had been diagnosed with cancer in 2022 and has been undergoing treatment since then, it wouldn't make any sense for the doctor to want a confirmation biopsy nearly 2 years later. Yeah, I mean, like, come on, that makes total sense. Boogie, however, claimed that he was the one pushing for the biopsy because he hoped that there was a small chance the biopsy would disprove the doctor's initial diagnosis that he had been letting fester in his mind for 2 years, huh? Interesting. Ultimately, the conversation stalled out when Destiny demanded that Boogie provide some evidence of his cancer diagnosis. Literally anything. That's all Destiny was apparently looking for, to the point where he offered Boogie $5,000 for his treatment. Boogie still wouldn't budge. Somebody who, over the past couple of years, has made himself into an absolute internet mockery for how often he's outright begging or guilting his audience for cash, okay? Been congratulating them when they do donate. Okay, $5, that's a lot of money for a black person. I don't know, but I got this USB and it's kind of like a gun. But Boogie didn't budge. You're not seeing my medical records for 20, not 50,000. You're not seeing my medical records, Boogie fired back. Interesting, yeah. And then somebody else ended up, hopping on that call, making it known that they would go ahead. They would throw in trip to Disney World, okay, and an additional $1,000 or something like that. Destiny ended up bumping his number up to 10,000, and then Keemstar came in and was like, okay, Boogie, provide one shred of evidence, and here's a cool 50 stack. Here's $50,000, your top end, okay? You're out there saying, not for 20,000, not for 50,000. What about Destiny's 10? What about that trip to Disney World? Okay, for somebody who is constantly, and that was a through line of that documentary that dropped last year, a year into him dealing with cancer, apparently, that he is basically paycheck to paycheck, almost having to go back, working a regular job because things have taken such a turn for the worse, where he's having to sell off a lot of his collectibles. Well, only some of his collectibles. I mean, he needs to keep the arcade cabinets because it's the only thing that brings him joy in life. But what has he done in the convening couple of hours since all of this stuff dropped? Well, he started to cancel himself. Okay, he's gone completely off of Twitter, but as of right now, the only thing that is still kicking around is his YouTube channel, mostly because it's his high watermark. I'm not too sure what he had for followers on Twitter, but outside of his live streams, Twitter was the place where he would make the biggest ass out of himself. But yeah, that nearly 4 million subscriber mark is the only thing that he has left, right? Okay. Shortly after his conversation with Destiny on his podcast, Boogie took down his profile on X. Fans were left worrying about his well-being, yes, because another go-to for Boogie whenever things get even just to a point of a slight inconvenience, he makes threats against his own life. Like, he's a disgusting human being, okay? And faking cancer for sympathy, yeah, that's a tipping point for a lot of people. That's definitely a point of no return. Keemstar made a post adding, some degree of clarity on the situation, along with confirming that Boogie is okay. Keemstar also said the fans might be getting clearer answers in the near future. Boogie has agreed to do a test for cancer at some point in the future. He's doing a test for cancer. He's apparently got the diagnosis, okay? It's real simple, okay? That will be available to the public. Sure thing. Fans were thankful for the status update on Boogie. Who's a fan of Boogie at this point in time? What, are there still people buying into the idea that he's just being dogpiled? Oh, the little blue-haired sodomite just blindsided him on his podcast, and now he's just, there's nothing he can do about it, okay? Hey, he's, once again, just the victim. Everything just happens in life to Boogie. There's nothing he could have done about this. Just stop at some point. Yeah, man, it's sickening. Like, there's no other way to put it. There's no coming back from this. It's an easy, okay, here's the proof I have cancer. I've been fighting a valiant battle behind the scenes because, I didn't want to show any weakness, but we also know, and if you've been following even tangentially the goings-on of Boogie, you would know that that's not him, okay? So none of the stuff that he's telling lines up on this. Like I said at the off, there's no coming back from this. This is definitely the biggest fall off, the biggest controversy surrounding a content creator. The Nick Rekieta stuff, with the kid testing positive for some nose candy, That's pretty bad, okay? Dr. Disrespect having his words twisted by the internet, that's awful as well. If you want to just go ahead and reach into the later stages of 2023 with the completionist, again, another one of those situations, that's another one, okay? But nothing is ever going to come to a point. And this is something that ends up excising people from communities. There's somebody a few years back in my neck of the woods who was also running a similar scam, faking cancer in order to steal charity money. And they got bullied completely out of the community, ended up ruining their father's legacy business in the process. It's just, this is a next level of villainy that I don't think anybody's terribly shocked that Boogie would end up doing, but to just simply see it happen like this, I mean, there's really nothing else to say other than total and complete scumbag. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.